Early morning at the Ministry of Housing offices at Ardhi House.
Good morning.
And a woman who describes her walk as, quote, well coordinated, makes her way through to another hectic day at the office.
Good morning.
But for this assistant minister in the Ministry of Housing, no amount of challenge is too big for her. She is, after all, a woman who describes her entire life as being about one challenge after another.
Our life was full of poverty. Poverty every day. We lived on the same dish, same meal, if there is any. Oh, that helped me, number one, to be able to know that it's not somebody's choice to be poor. When you're born into a poor family, you end up being poor yourself. But when you grow up, you can make choices and decide, I'm going to get out of this poverty.
It is only from the ever-busy Haile Selassie Avenue that the story of Bishop Margaret Njeri can best be told, from within the confines of the one place she considers her second home, the Jesus is Alive Ministry Church.
My first ordination as a reverend.
Letting me in on earlier times in a transition that few people have lived to tell.
I was born here in Nairobi. I was brought up by a single mother, my mother. Not that we didn't have a dad. The dad was there, but he was absent. My mother used to work as a domestic worker for the Wazungus then. You know, during the colonial days, if you get a job as a domestic worker, must be very lucky. So she was one of those that were lucky enough to get a job as a domestic worker. And she brought us up, hiding us at the servant quarters. But we grew up, and here we are.
As the third born in such a humble family, her dreams of a good education were a distant one, and for a while she accepted the situation until that one incident one afternoon in their backyard, she says, forced her to think twice about her life.
I had that one instance in my mother's place where she used to work. Behind there, the servant quarters, we used to have trees of avocados. Now, every time we used to eat avocados, January, December. I mean, I don't know whether these avocados had seasons or they were just growing throughout. And one day I came and it was the usuals, githeri and avocado spilled on top. And I thought, please, I've had enough of this. There must be something better in life.
It was from that point on that a 15-year-old Margaret Njeri decided she was going to work to get herself to school. And she did, but not despite major challenges, especially in high school.
I was determined to finish my secondary school. And in the process, of course, I got pregnant, but I still finished my secondary education. And then I decided to go to college. In the process, again, I got pregnant, but I was still determined to move on.
Falling pregnant twice and at such a tender age then was considered taboo.
First of all, they look at you and wonder what's wrong with you. You are at the prime of life where you are about to do your exams, you are about to finish your school, your secondary education. You should be focusing on the education, but here you are, you have other issues you are dealing with.
But Margaret Njeri was determined not to let any of it get in the way of her dreams.
Yes, so now here I am with a baby. I'm out of school. I need to feed this child. And I need some shelter. Of course, now my mom cannot accommodate all of us now, plus another child. So I need to find a place to stay. I need to find food. And that's how I ended up as somebody's house girl somewhere. And I was working at that place as a house girl, being given shelter, being given food, very little money. And stayed for a while. I did a very good job, I must say. I turned around that house. I did a very good job for that lady. But then somewhere along the line, I was thrown out because, again, I was expectant. So when she realized I'm expectant, she said I was okay with one child. But now with the two, I can't. So she threw me out, and that's how I ended up on the streets. I started selling earrings. As I'm selling the earrings, somebody opened the window of the car and said, what are you doing on the streets? You're such a young girl. And I said, I have a baby, and here is another one on the way. I have to take care of myself and my children. That's why I'm selling earrings. And he gave me a business card and said, look for me, that factory. Do you want a job as a toilet cleaner? I said, anything. I mean, can you clean anything just to make a living? Yeah. And I ended up in industrial area, got a job as a toilet cleaner, and that's how life now turned around for me. Now, for me, that was a breakthrough.
From then on, she became an office cleaner a car cleaner, organized files, anything to get by.
And in the meantime, I went to college. And by the time I graduated, I had already gotten myself a job in the sales department. I continued again. By the time I went back to college again, by the time I graduated again, I had already gotten a job as a marketer. And by the time I left that company, I was a marketing executive.
But it was her decision to drop her then successful career in the marketing field and turn into street preaching that was the most drastic. Her reasons?
I got saved while I was in business. And as I got saved, then immediately after salvation, I wanted to preach. I wanted to tell people, hey, what are you waiting for? Don't die in hell. Jesus saves. People were so shocked because, first of all, women weren't preaching then.
And so she preached. And from a few passers-by and curious onlookers, she created a following and ultimately a church.
The church on the streets became too huge and we needed to move. We were in trouble with the police and the city council and the banks around Aga Khan Walk. They just wanted us out of there. But I wouldn't hear because for me, I succeeded on the streets. I just wanted to stay.
Bishop, your journey to the top hasn't been without its controversies. Let's begin with the most sensitive and controversial one that revolved around the late James Kamangu.
It did not affect us. I mean, it's just made a wedding to be cancelled, that's all. We just ended up with no wedding. But life continued. We moved on. Yeah.
Life was never the same for her again with the public limelight on her, but she says she bore through it all.
It doesn't get into me. You will not find me somewhere sad, stressed, sorrowful. No, I'm a very prayerful person. I sing, I praise. I'm a very jolly person. So you don't find me somewhere mourning, crying. No, 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 not me. Me, I live my life.
And so where did the whole fiasco leave the Starehe Member of Parliament?
And I thank God that the wedding never took place. So maybe that's just all. I'm still single. I bless the Lord. Yeah. Maybe this time a Kenyan will come around. Yeah.
The Housing Assistant Minister prefers not to talk about an audit report linking her to the fraudulent allocation of housing units through the National Housing Corporation, saying investigations are ongoing, but says she maintains her integrity as a leader. How is it for you, juggling all the aspects of your life? You're an evangelist, a bishop, you're a mother, you're a leader. How is it?
First of all, I consider being a mother a blessing. And that is my strength. My strength is, even in the leadership I have today, my strength is being a mother. Even in the church, people see me as a mother. In the politics, people see me as a mother. The motherhood has worked tremendously for me. Oh, now this is the Bishop Margaret.
And so the bishop, who regularly goes to the gym and enjoys singing, reading and socializing, continues to make her mark as a leader and says she looks forward to being part of that leadership that will eliminate poverty in the country. Evelyn Mbui for Newsmakers.